It's so wonderful to be here with you today. Let's start with our pelvis tilted into neutral. So bringing those top two bones over the bottom pubic bone and stretch your legs long with your heels down and your toes up. And if you haven't yet, go onto the alignment lessons page and watch the alignment lessons for really for all of them, for feet straight, ankles hip distance, but in particular, especially for the sitting section of our class, rotating your pelvis into neutral, because those alignment lessons are really key to all of these classes. If we haven't mastered those yet, we're working on getting more into those alignments as we move, because that's what moves more of our muscles and therefore brings in more blood flow and more waste removal and helps our cells regenerate in a healthier way. So watch that alignment lesson, pelvis into neutral, and keep working on it throughout class. But from here, let your arms hang by your sides, turn your palms to face behind you. And then nice and slowly, without lifting the ribs up, lift your arms up into the air any amount and lower them back down. And reach your arms up and lower down, keeping this rotation of your arm bones. Reach your arms up and lower down, and reach your arms up and lower down. Okay, now rotate your arm bones so your thumbs point forward, your palms face your body. And here, arms reach up and down and reach up. Check where your pelvis went to and down. And arms go up and down. And arms go up and down. Now rotate your palms to face forward. Elbow pits, the soft front part of your elbow is facing forward. Arms go up, keeping those palms facing the ceiling or behind you, and down. Ribs stay dropping down and back. Arms go up and down. Arms go up and down. And arms go up and down. Excellent. Okay, from here, turn your palms back to face behind you. Arms go up in the air, hold, and now we'll focus on our ankles. We'll point and flex, but when you flex, try not to pull your toes back too. So two separate motions. Relax your toes, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex. Now the other foot, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex. Good. Release your arms down. So it's a separate motion, pulling your toes back and flexing your ankle, and we want to be able to do those separately. All right, turn your palms to face your body. Thumbs point forward. Arms go up into the air any amount. Ribs stay down. Now you're going to do two ankles at the same time, and actually let's just do one ankle. So right ankle, twist your inner arch forward a little, and twist the outer edge of your foot forward. So you're just twisting your ankle a little bit side to side. And you can all do all of these with shoes on. There's a couple things we'll do today with our toes, but you can just skip those, but don't skip the whole class of movement goodness. And then switch feet and rotate your inner arch forward a little and the outer edge of your foot forward. And just do the best you can. You might notice that you have a lot of motion here. If you do, go a little bit slower. And you might notice that your ankle is stuck and you don't have much motion here, and that's why we're practicing. Take your time. Okay, and then release your arms down. Always give your arms a break sooner if needed. Turn your palms to face forward without lifting the ribs. Arms go up. And now with your ankles flexed, can you just curl your toes forward and pull back a little? Just curl your toes forward and pull back. Toes curl forward and pull back. Toes curl forward and pull back. Now relax your toes into the center and try to spread your toes out any amount. And even if you're wearing shoes, you can spread your toes out. And if you can't spread your toes because your toe box is narrow, that's something you want to consider next time you get shoes. And then bring your arms down and relax your toes. And then from here, let's go ahead and walk. So do this first before you walk your foot over. Just cross, bring your ankles in hip distance apart, cross your right ankle over your left. And if you already feel a gentle stretch down the side of your thigh, maybe just keep your ankles that distance. Otherwise, walk your right ankle or left ankle a little bit more over to the left, so it's a little bit outside of hip distance if you have to scoot your foot back on your chair. And then you can hold onto your chair for support, and you're going to cross your ankle over. So if it was too far to reach or your knee bent to get your leg over, then bring your left foot back a little bit. And then you're going to uncross and put your ankle down in line with your right hip. So cross over, uncross, cross over, maybe your left leg's a little farther out to the left, uncross, cross over, stay there, legs crossed, and then hopefully steady on the chair, reach your arms into the air, and from here we'll cross the right wrist behind the left wrist and back out. So the left arm stays pretty stable. We're reaching over to the left arm and out, and reach over and out, and reach over and out, and then release your hands down. Uncross your ankles. Feel free to always stop and readjust yourself. If you feel yourself slipping, that's just part of it. It's more movement to shimmy yourself back. Okay, either start with your right ankle in line with your right hip so that you can cross your ankle over, or if you feel like you have a little bit more that you can go, walk your right ankle a little bit more over to the right, and then start with your left ankle in line with your left hip and reach across and uncross. Across, keeping the leg straight, and uncross. Across and uncross. Across and stay. Stabilize yourself. Reach your arms into the air. The right arm stays put. Reach your left arm across and out. Across and out. It's very tempting for the brain to bring that right arm in. Try not to. Left arm goes across and out, and across and out, and then release both arms down, uncross your ankles, bring your ankles back to center, bend your knees, and then let's spin around for a lunge. So spin around to your right, slide your other leg back with your toes right under your heel. You can do top of the foot or toes tucked under. We often need more practice with a flexed ankle, so a lot of the time do a flexed ankle if that's not too uncomfortable, but sometimes feel free to mix it up. Your knees falling right under your hip. We're going to turn dynamically, which means we're going to go in and out of it to the back of the chair. So really focus on your waist and belly button as you turn to your chair and unwind. And turn to the chair and unwind. Turn to the chair and unwind, and this time turn to the chair and stay. And notice it's easier for the body to turn from the shoulders and the neck, so try to really focus on your waist area where your belly button is and get a little bit more turn from there. Allowing your breath to flow, smooth inhales and exhales. Okay, unwind your waist. From here, bring your hand to your chest to feel that your breastbone is down and vertical. And let's do a couple ramps, and we'll do this later, but I just wanted to do it from a side view so that you could see what we're doing. So face straight ahead, your head goes forward a little, but that's not the most important part of the ramping. The most important part is not lifting your chest up and then sliding your ears straight back over your shoulders. Try not to lean your head back. Just keep your chin parallel with the floor. Head slides forward and ears slide back over the shoulders without lifting the chest. Keep that in mind. Now pay attention to your front foot and then putting your ankle right under the knee. Let's lift the heel up off the floor and lower down. Lift, press equally through the ball of the foot. Notice if your ankle's twisting, try to keep it straight and tap the heel down. Lift the heel up nice and slow and tap down and lift the heel up and tap down, and then slide that back leg forward, spin around to your other side. Slide your knee back right underneath your hip, front ankle right underneath your knee. You can have your toes tucked under or top of the foot with your shoe or your bare foot, and then let's focus on the waist. Twisting towards the back of the chair and unwind. turning from the belly and unwind. Turn from the belly and unwind. Turn from the belly and hold. And as you twist from the belly, you're not holding your belly tight, so your belly's relaxed. You're just turning from that waist area. And breathing. Notice if as you twist, your ribs tend to push forward. Relax the ribs down and back. Your head tends to come forward. You can just ramp it back a little bit while you're here, aligning your spine. All right, unwind, one hand to the chest, breastbone drops down. Just 2 head ramps here. Head relaxes forward a little, ears slide back over the shoulders. And forward a little, and ears slide back over the shoulders. Now keep your head ramping, pay attention to your front foot, and lift the heel up, or you can look at your foot too. Heel down so you can tell if your ankle's twisting. Lift up, press equally from the ball of the foot below the toes, and heel goes down. Heel up, and down, and heel up, and down, and then slide your back leg forward. All right, grab your block or whatever you use for a block. An upside down little like bathroom garbage can would work here, or any kind of maybe small plastic Tupperware container that's high enough, about the height of a block on its highest height. And we're going to do 3 angles here. So you're going to put the block in front of your left foot, and you're going to reach your right leg over. Your hips are facing straight ahead. It's just your right heel going over to that leg. And then from here, you're sitting up tall, rotating your pelvis into neutral with a straight leg. You already might notice some pull down the outside of your thigh. You're going to drop your chin down to your chest and relax the back of the neck. Feel like the front of your throat is slightly lifting up. And then rotate side to side. Relax your forehead, relax your jaw. Go slow. So you're not only trying to go all the way to one side and the other side, but you're trying to feel how the pull on your neck changes as you slowly go through that half circle. And then make your way back to center, lift your head up, rotate your pelvis forward any amount more, and with a somewhat straight spine, you're leaning forward a little bit more. Keep flexing your ankle so your toes go up in the air. So if you lean forward from your pelvis and your ankle goes ahead, then you're releasing tension from one end. So we're trying to, in some ways, keep the tension in both ends to really change the range of motion in particular muscles. And if you don't have anything, you can do this with your foot on the floor as well, just putting your foot in different angles. So you don't have to skip this if you don't have a block or something. Okay, come on up. Now, uncross, take that block outside your right foot a little bit and extend your leg up out to the right, and you can go as far as you like, heel down, toes up, and then sitting up nice and tall in your pelvis here. That's the first step. You can even just feel, let your pelvis rotate back a little, and then let your pelvis rotate forward, and you can feel how that changes the way it pulls on your hip muscles. And so all day long, you're helping engage and use your hip muscles and strengthen your pelvic floor by keeping your pelvis in neutral more often when you're sitting. Okay, ribs relax down, ears slide back over the shoulders, ramping. Let's just turn our head all the way to the right and over to the left. Try to keep the chin parallel with the floor instead of lifting it or up or down as you turn. Try to just turn from the neck. Try not to turn your torso to one side. See if you can just really feel the neck muscles twisting. And let's do one more each side. And then bring your head back to center and rotate forward from your pelvis a little bit more. Hinge forward from your hips. Breathing. Keeping the ankle flexed, toes relaxed. So do you always pull the toes back when you flex your ankles? All right, and then come on up. And last but not least, put your block right in front of your right foot, and your foot is right under your knee, which is in line with that top outer pelvic bone, your ASIS bone. And put your heel up, your toes up in the air, flexed ankle. And then from here, pelvis upright, ribs relax down, ears slide back over the shoulders, and we'll take our right ear to our right shoulder and our left ear. And it's very common when you go side to side that the head wants to twist. In particular, when I go to my right, my head really wants to twist. So I have to bring it back so my ear is more lined up with the shoulder. Try not to lean your torso side to side. So if there's not a lot of range of motion in the neck, your body will be tempted to do this. Just your neck, just pulling on the muscles between your skull and your shoulder. One more each side. Okay, and head comes up, rotate your pelvis, hinge forward any amount. Try to really feel motion in the pelvis. And if you're really stuck and there's not a lot of motion, that's where you want to get your hips higher than the rest of your body. So, or than your knees rather. So get your hips higher, stacked on towels or something stable as you're sitting here. See if you can get a little more motion from the pelvis and less pull from the spine. So if I drop my spine down, it will pull on the back of my legs, but that's not where we're really targeting. We're targeting getting the motion coming from the pelvis. All right, let's switch legs. So you can keep the block right where it is and just extend your left leg over to the block. Heel down, toes up in the air. And then from here, let's relax our ribs down. Slide our ears back over our shoulders and drop our chin down to our chest and just kind of look that your chin's in the center of the chest and just stay centered for a couple breaths. Really let the forehead relax down. So after a couple moments, the head might naturally start coming back up because of tension. So let it drop down. Relax the face muscles around the eyes, around the nose, around the lips. Your cheeks into your jaw. And then lift your head up nice and slowly and rotate from the pelvis. Try to get a little more motion of your actual pelvis, like you're bringing the top two ASIS bones over your pubic bone. And if you're not familiar with those bones, even more reason to watch that alignment lesson, Neutral Pelvis. So helpful for all of these classes. And let's say that on one side, you're like, oh, I felt it on one side, not the other side. You can play with subtleties, like is your thigh bone rotating a little bit more one way than the other way? Okay, come on up. And then now you're going to take that block a little bit outside your left foot. Extend heel down, toes up in the air, keeping the leg nice and long, rotating the pelvis upright. And then now turn your head to the right, just the head, not the torso. Keep feeling the twist of the neck. And nice and slowly nod your head yes. Continue to look over to the right. Head comes back to center nice and slowly. Turn and just turn from the neck over to the left. And nod your head yes. Go slow. Feel the motion. And unwind your neck and rotate forward from the pelvis. Leg stays nice and long, heel down, toes up. And feel free to work with things of different heights. That's one of the beauties of being at home is you could use a stool of a different height. You could use a bolster of a different height to put underneath your leg. And slowly come up with your pelvis. And last but not least, bring the block right in front of your left foot. Heel down, toes up in the air. Knee, hip, and ankle in line with each other. Tilt your pelvis up right. And then slowly with ribs relaxed down, ears slide back, right ear to right shoulder. Try to feel that your ear is going straight down to your shoulder and not twist it in front of it or behind it. And then from here, let's nod our head yes. Right ear to right shoulder. Oh, yeah, that's yes. For some reason in my mind, I was thinking, is that yes? Good thing. Okay, bring your head up, and without tilting your torso to the left, just your neck goes over to the left, chin slides back, and nod your head yes here. So important. Our neck is just so important. If the neck is tight, that means there's less blood flow going to the brain all the time. Blood flow with oxygen and helps not only helps regenerate our cells, and then also the movement of the muscle helps the lymph system remove waste. And we don't have a pump for that. We don't have the heart that pumps that, so we need to move our muscles in all these areas to get the waste removed. And then bring your head up nice and slowly, rotate forward from your pelvis, keep your ankle really flexed. And if you notice that your foot really wants to push or you have a hard time getting it into that complete flexion, that means more calf stretching, more calf stretching, more calf stretching. A lot more than once or twice a week in class. And you can use all sorts of props for your calf stretch. Okay, and slowly come up. Bend your knees, walk your feet nice and wide with the outer edges of your feet straight, rotate your pelvis upright, and then you can hold onto your chair on the seat of the chair behind it and roll your thighs in to the inner edges of your feet and roll your thighs out to the outer edges of your feet. Breathe in. Your body, as you do these little motions, especially as you do them more and more neutral, your body will start to crave movement. It will tell you, it will ask you if you've ever eaten a healthy diet for a period of time. If not, then you might not have experienced this, but your body will start to crave greens. It will start to crave foods that are healthy for it. And it's the same thing with movement. You'll be sitting for a long period of time and your body will just tell you, I've got to move in a different way. So take these tools with you. These are great tools to use anytime you're sitting around, waiting around, watching something, reading something. Okay, next time your thighs roll open, keep them open. Reach your arms out to your side. Let's start with palms face down, low chest height, and cross right arm on top and open. And left arm on top and open. All right, let's go back to right arm on top, and right here, slide your ears back, ramp your head back and open. And then left arm on top and slide your ears back, ramp your head back a little and open. Turn your palms to face forward, so thumbs up in the air, and we'll do right arm on top, ears slide back over the shoulders. And left arm on top, ears slide back. And one more each. Right arm on top and open, and left arm on top and open. Rotate from the upper arm bones. Feel the upper arm bones turn so your palms go up. And you've got, let's do left arm on top this time. Left arm on top first and open, and right arm on top and open. Left arm on top, pause. Does your head go forward or can you slide it back a little more? And open, and switch arms on top. Slide your ear back and open. And then from there, release your hands down, walk your feet into hip distance apart. Here's where you could use that mini garbage can or block again if crossing your ankle under your knee isn't comfortable or you want to do something different. If you can cross your ankle over your knee today, go ahead and do that because it'll be easier to do the motions we're going to add on. But you can either put your foot on or cross your ankle over your knee. Try not to walk your bottom foot in. So keep your ankle right under your knee right in line with your hip, and then rotate your pelvis as upright as you comfortably can. And from here, we're going to point and flex the ankle. Same thing, watch as you flex. Do you pull your toes back? Relax your toes. Point and flex, point and flex, point and flex. You might even be able to feel as you move your ankle how it changes the motion in your hip. And now a little twist here. If your inner arch kind of rolls up to the ceiling and then you rotate your inner arch forward. Relax and push forward. Inner arch goes up a little, press forward. Maybe your knee gets a little higher. Ankle sinks down a little bit and push forward. Okay, now keep your ankle flexed and pushing forward as long as it agrees with your hip. And then take your arms down low in front of you, right above your legs, pinky fingers together, and open and close. Open and close. Bring your hands a little bit higher. Open and close. Open and close. Bring your arms a little higher. Open and close. Open and close. A little bit higher. Open and close. Open and close. Excellent. Now open your arms, let them come down by your sides, and try to rotate your pelvis even the tiniest little bit more. So it doesn't require necessarily for your spine to go forward. You can go forward with your spine a little bit. Relax any clenching if possible. Notice if you're leaning all your weight, like are you leaning onto one hip? Bring your torso so you feel a little bit weight on both of your hips. And then come on up and switch. So the whole time you can have your block down and your foot on the block. You might have to skip the ankle movements, but you can do all the arm movements and the forward fold just fine. Sit upright in your pelvis and point and flex, keeping the toes relaxed or even curled forward a little. Point and flex. Point and flex, point and flex. Now keep that flexion. Let your ankle roll one way and twist the other way. Like the outer ankle drops down a little and the inner arch pushes forward a little. Small motion. So these are tender areas of your ankle, so you want to go slow and be careful and not feel any discomfort here. So it's easy to rush. Okay, now ankle flex, push forward through your inner arch. So rather than facing the ceiling, it's facing more towards the direction of the sole of the foot. And from here, reach your arms low, pinky fingers together, open your arms to the side. Think of your ribs relaxing down without taking your pelvis with it. So pelvis upright, ribs relax down, arms go up and down. Open through the palms of the hands and stretch the fingers long. And breathing. Smooth inhales and exhales. All right, from there, rotate your pelvis and hinge forward a little bit more. Relaxing around the hip, relaxing around the thigh. Try to feel like you have equal weight on both of your hips. All right, and come up and uncross. Okay, you're gonna walk your feet wide again, but maybe before you do that, you wanna grab something to hold on to. We are gonna do double calf stretches, a series of them later on in class, and sometimes I'll tell you an extra mat works well for that, or you can use 2 blocks. But if you have an extra mat, use your extra mat in your hands. But if not, you can definitely use a block between your hands or whatever you use it as a block. Anything really, you can hold on to a book, you can hold on to something that has a little weight in your hands. So I am gonna use this rolled up mat today. A lot of the times I'll use a block. And if you're using a rolled up mat, put the flap underneath your hands. And then with your thighs nice and wide, pelvis upright, ribs relaxed down, you're gonna lift it up into the air. Watch those elbows popping out, keep them hugging in, and bring it down slowly. So you can always use something a little heavier. If you're new to this, start with something lighter. Lift without the ribs going up and lower back down. Let's do that a couple more times. Lift without the ribs going up and lower back down. And also if your shoulders are tight, the wider whatever you're holding on to helps keep your elbows down a little more. Lift, this time hold and rotate your thighs in and rotate them open. Rotate in and open. 2 more. Rotate in and open. Rotate in and open. Excellent. And then bring your hands down nice and slowly. Whatever you're using, put it to your side. So you can start thinking of things that you want to use for all those things, because that's another one we'll do often. Walk your feet into hip distance apart. Do your best not to scoot your feet back. So try to keep your ankles forward under your knees, and then really watch what happens to your thighs. Usually right when you're getting up and right when you're about to sit down are the weakest, because when most people get up, we use momentum, and then when we sit down, we fall at the end. So especially in the beginning, watch what happens to those thighs. Try to keep them hip distance. Try to use less momentum. Push down, push your hips back, and come up really slowly from the chair. Now today, we're not going to sit all the way back down. We're just going to tap down. So I'll show you from the side view. With the outer edges of your feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Sit your hips back. Notice the tendency for the thighs to want to go forward. Slide them back and try to lower down with less momentum. And if you find yourself falling or your thighs collapsing in, put something higher on the seat of your chair, or just to vary it up. Sometimes I like to put something, and actually I'm going to do that today. Hinge forward, push down to come up. I'm going to put a block down because we're just going to tap today. We're not going to sit all the way down. So you're going to sit back and tap your hips to the chair. Try to feel both sides. So if it's your thighs touching, feel both sides and come up. Don't actually let your weight go down to the chair. Sit your hips back, tap down slowly. Push your thigh bones, hips back to come up. Weight stays in the heel. Sit back and tap. Push your hips back, press into the heels to come up. Sit back and tap. And push your hips back to come up. Slow, slow, slow. Excellent. Come around to the back of your chair. Okay, from the back of your chair, our wonderful, wonderful thoracic stretch that you can do on your kitchen counter, on your fireplace mantle. Find different heights, find different chair backs. Walk back 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs. Outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance. Now push your hips back over your heels. The more your weight's back in your heels, the more the front of your thighs will relax. And the new alignment lesson is up for this month, which is kneecap relax. And this is a great place to see if you can relax the thighs enough, the front of them, and lift your kneecaps up and down. Breathing here. Relax your belly so your tailbone can tilt a little bit more in the air. This one in particular is one that I definitely recommend you look at yourself doing in a mirror if possible, because a lot of people are here and they don't realize it, and their thigh bones have to go down back and their spine has to relax down. And if you notice in the mirror that it's really challenging to get your spine to relax down a little bit, then from there what you'll want to do is put your hands on something higher and work higher for a while. Okay, press through your legs, come on up. Grab whatever you're going to use for a calf stretch. I'll use a thin block today. Outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance. Put the ball of your right foot up and your ankles hip distance apart. Maybe you step your left foot forward a little bit. Steady your weight between both legs. Turn your elbow pits and palms forward and pull your arms back and relax. And breathing here. And so someone recently wrote to me and gave me the feedback that sometimes the things I'm wearing kind of blend in, and I've gotten a couple comments, blend into the wall. And they said these walls are not pink, but maybe on camera they look pink. They're kind of like a tannish skin tone color. And so since I moved here, I was thinking about painting this wall behind me. So if anyone has any suggestions, like what would be best? I don't know. All this camera stuff and mic stuff, I've been learning this ever since I went online. So would a white be best? Would just like a really light off-white be best? If you have any suggestions, feel free to let me know. Okay, hold your arms back behind you a little bit, but without the chest lifting up. Ribs relax down, weight back in the heels. Slide your ears back, turn and look over your right shoulder. Turn and look over your left shoulder. Now turn and look over your right shoulder. Are the front of your thighs clenching? Let them relax. And do a few slow, gentle arm swings here with your head turned to the right. Of course, you've got to be paying attention to your legs. That's what's stabilizing your outer hips, kind of pushing down into the floor. And then pause with your arms back, turn your head the other direction, and do a few more arm swings here. Breathing. Where are you clenching on your thighs? Are your buttocks clenching? I mean, muscles are going to engage, but when you clench, you're often preventing the muscles that need to work from working. All right, bring your head back to center and switch feet. So slide the rolled up towel or the thin block or the half dome, whatever you're using. Put the ball of your foot up, your heel down, outer edges of feet straight. Maybe the outside foot steps forward a little bit. Relax the front of the thighs, and let's go back to our arm swings. Now, part of the way through with the arm swings is what people don't unconscious. Your brain unconsciously goes to the habit patterns you use most. And almost all of us, even if you participate in this class a lot, probably spend a lot of times with our arms in internal rotation when we're driving, when we're on our computers, when we have our cell phones in front of us. So when we're swinging our arms, the next thing we know, they'll just turn in a little bit, and all of a sudden the elbow pit will be slightly forward, but not all the way forward. So you really want to work on keeping that rotation as you swing your arm bones back. And eventually, if the thumbs can stay forward while your elbow pits are forward, then do that. But a lot of times if you leave the thumbs forward too soon, it will pull your elbow pits in without you realizing it. Okay, next time your arms go back, hold. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder nice and slowly. Twist so you feel like the ear is going to the shoulder. And then from here, let's bring your head up and left ear to left shoulder. I almost forgot that we were doing this first. And now go back, right ear to right shoulder, and do a little swinging here. Nice and gently. Can you feel the connection of how just by moving your arms while your neck is in certain positions helps get into all those muscles differently? And then pause with your arms back a little. Slowly bring your head up and drop your ear over to your shoulder and swing. Check in. Are you clenching the front of the legs? Are you clenching your buttock muscles? Did the weight go forward into the front of your heels? Just one thing at a time, but so many of you have been doing this for so long. There's so many different things to pay attention to. Okay, and release. Bring your head up, step off of there, and then, and if you ever feel discomfort in calf stretches, like in your lower, behind your ankle and your Achilles tendon area, that means whatever you're on is too high. So come off of there and do something lower with your feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. You're pushing down through the right hip when you're balancing, and it's a sensation of pushing down. And then eventually the hip won't pop out to the side. So you push down and tap your one toes behind you and then back your weight up into your heel. So you're looking for those two things when you're balancing. You're trying to not let your weight go forward, back your thigh bone up more than you think you'd have to, even if your torso comes forward, and watch that hip going out to the side, pull it in. All right, so from there, other side, feet straight, ankles hip distance, push down, tap your toes behind you, back your weight up, hold on to that hip. Bring the foot forward, feet straight, push down, hug the hip in, back up. Good, feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. That helps use the muscles more equally. Push down, hug the hip in, and back those toes up. And bring it back. So you can either stick with those, so if you have a little kickstand, or you can push down, hug the hip in, and flex your ankle and your foot comes off. Keep backing your weight up into your heel and put the foot down. Now if, when you push down and hug in, your foot doesn't come up with ease and maybe you have to bend your knee or hike your hip up, you might want to stick to the kickstand at first to just really work on that. And if you keep pushing down and focusing on these muscles, they will turn on over time. All right, from here, push down, hug the hip in, foot floats up. And press down, hug the hip in, foot floats up. Weight back in the heels, push down. You should easily be able to lift your front toes up. Push down, hip hugs in, lift up off the toes. And over time, less leaning too. So at first you might lean a lot to get that foot up off the floor, less leaning of your torso. So that's another piece of the puzzle. Let's do one more each side. Feel those outer hips. It'll be so easy to forget. And then the next thing you know, you'll be falling over because you forgot about those outer hip muscles. Two more. because we did the one more. Okay, and bring the foot down. Bring your hands to the back of the chair. Walk back. Have your ankles be a little forward of your hips, so it's like you push your hips back and they go behind your ankles. And then we're going to sit back and bend our knees. 2 straight arms. Watch the thighs collapsing in or out. Keep the knees hip distance and straighten your legs and push your thighs back. So sit back. Watch the knees going forward, back up from the shins, and push your thigh bones straight back. 2 more like that. Bend your knees, sit your hips back, and thigh bones straight back. Bend your knees, sit your hips back, thigh bones push straight back. And then come on up to the chair, outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance, sit back into a chair pose. Step your right leg back into a lunge. Flip your right palm up a little higher than your left hand or the top of your chair and reach it across. And come back. Turn your palm to face so your thumb is up. Reach across and come back. Turn your palm face down. Reach across and come back. Put your hand down. Press into the sole of your front foot, especially the heel. Use the ball of your back foot to push down to step up. With your feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Walk your feet just a step wider and sit your hips back. Inner thighs open and press up. Walk your feet a step wider, maybe as wide as your mat. You can line up your feet with the edge of your mat. Sit your hips back. You're rotating your thighs open from the very top of your thighs if they tend to collapse in. And push into your feet to come up. Step your feet 1 wider, like you're going pretty wide, like a warrior stance. And then sit your hips back. And press up. So you can stay facing your chair. Your feet are nice and wide. Turn your right toes out 90 degrees. Bend into the knee. Watch your pelvis here. Does it go out of neutral? Bring your pubic bone right under to your top 2 bones. Open your arms, palms up, hands a little lower than our shoulders. So give our shoulders a break from that tension, that stress tension. Lift your right arm up in the air. You can always have one hand on a chair. Slowly straighten your right leg as you tip over into a triangle pose, 2 straight legs. You're reaching from your left buttocks into your heel. And then keep your arm in the air, slowly rebend your right knee. Steer it over the center of your knee, hand or elbow to your knee as you reach your top arm over. Press long through that back leg and then push through both of your feet to come up. Turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out. Outer edge of the foot straight, bend into the knee, right over the ankle. If the knee goes past the ankle, then either walk your stance a little wider or don't bend your knee so much. Open your arms up, palms up, warrior 2. I'm going to widen my stance just a little. Reach your left arm up, reverse warrior. Weight in the heels, grounding into the heels. Slowly straighten your front leg as you tip over into a triangle pose, reaching from your right buttocks into your right heel. Where's your pelvis in space? And then slowly bend the left knee, reach the arm overhead a little bit more. Press long through the back leg. That knee has a tendency to want to bend, so reach from your buttocks to your heel and pull yourself up. Okay, turn your toes in. Great to have a chair in front of you to rest your hands on. We're going to do a little bit and then a little bit more. So start really small. Pigeon toe your feet the tiniest little bit because you're going to want to do it more. So you don't want to go as far as you can. And rotate your pelvis and push your thigh bones back. Back up your hips. Come up nice and slowly. Now just see, as long as it doesn't bother your ankles, can you turn your feet in a little bit more and rotate from your pelvis and push your hips back. 2 straight legs. Are you clenching the front of your thighs, your inner thighs, your outer thighs? And then come back. Turn your feet back to straight. You're facing your chair, hips back, then push your hips a little to the right and a little to the left. And your hips are moving without your knees bending. Breathing. Back your weight up as you move side to side. And then walk your feet in, so maybe they're about the distance of your mat, or if you had a mat. And go side to side twice here. You're kind of pulling your hip back as you go to each side. And then come back to about hip distance apart and shift your hips side to side here. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. And then come back to center and come up. Make sure your feet are hip distance apart. Push your hips back. So 2 things when you're balancing on one leg. One is that your weight is not drifting forward, and 2 is that your hip's not going out to the side. So you're pushing down through one leg, hug the hip in, lift the other leg behind you. If it drifted forward, back up. One way to know your hip is not hugging in enough is if this outside hip is rolling up. So if you pull your standing leg hip back and in, that hip will turn to the floor. Tap and lift. Tap and lift. Tap and lift. Tap and lift. Did your weight drift forward? Back it up. Did your hip roll open? Pull that standing leg hip back and in. Lower the foot down. Good. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Back your hips up. Push down through your opposite hip. Hug it in. Lift the leg behind you. Doesn't matter how high. So if you're having trouble keeping your hip back or hugging in, maybe don't lift it so high. Pull the hip back so that hip turns and faces the floor. Tap and lift. Weight back in the heel. Tap and lift. Tap and lift. Tap and lift. Back up the weight into the heel. Pull the hip back and in. Good. Bring the foot down. Walk back. 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs. Thumbs point in the air. Now try not to let your spine drop down too low. Head lifted up, back of the head ramp. Weight in the heels. Lift one hand into the air and lower. So your legs are doing most of the work here. Lift your other arm and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Push through the backs of the legs to come up. Walk up a little to your chair. Cross your right ankle behind your left ankle. 2 straight legs. Push your hips back. Make it more about the rotation of the pelvis and less about folding at the spine. So backing the hips up a little bit. And switch the crossing of the legs. And push the hips back. A little goes a long way. You don't have to go for sensation. Taking the shape is enough. How often are you in this shape in your daily life? But for some reason, myself included, we have this idea from fitness culture that I need to feel sensation here, even though we're barely ever in this shape in our life to begin with. Just coming into the shape is enough at first. Good. And come up and uncross. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Let's turn our toes in slightly and push our hips back. And press through the heels to come up. Turn your toes out slightly. And push your hips back. Get a little rotation so it's really the front of the pelvis is relaxing down so the back of the pelvis tilts up. Come back up, feet straight. Thigh bones move back. Relax the belly and the front of the pelvis down. And then come up and sit back into a chair pose and step your left leg back into a lunge. Center on the ball of the back foot. Now the left hand comes up, palm flip up, reach across and out. Thumb up, reach across and out. Palm face down, reach across and out. Bring the hand down, push into the heel of the front foot, the ball of the back foot to lift up and come up. Step your feet a little wider than hip distance apart. Sit back and press up. Feel the buttocks working. Walk your feet a little wider, maybe as wide as your mat. Sit back. Now, if you're feeling strain in your lower back, maybe one of 2 things. You're tucking your pelvis under and you don't realize, untuck, or your ribs are thrusting forward. Curl your ribs up if you can easily maintain this curve of your neck, of your lower back. And press up. Take it wider like a warrior stance. Sit back. Back your hips up more. Press up. Keep your feet wide and turn your right toes out 90 degrees. Arms go up in the air, palms face each other. Bend into the right knee. Steer it right over the center of the ankle. What's your pelvis doing? Pubic bone right underneath AS-IS bones. So it's not pelvis back or pelvis forward. It's, is my pelvis in neutral? Some people have to move it back. Some people have to move it forward. Reach your arms back over to the left. Press long through the left leg. Bring your arms up. Slowly straighten your right leg and just tilt your torso over a little. Rebend your right knee as you reach over. Bring your arms up, straighten your leg. If your arms need a rest, now's a good chance. Then when you're ready, bring your arms back up, turn your left toes out. Bend your knee right over your ankle, press long from the right buttocks into the heel. Reach back to the right. Bring your arms back up, slowly straighten your left leg, tilt over to the left. Hold the torso as you rebend into that left knee right over the ankle, breathing. Bring your arms as you straighten your leg up, turn your toes in, release your arms down. Your feet are still wide, now a little turnout. So outer edge of the foot straight is neutral. We're just doing a little turnout, which is probably common to the turnout a lot of us have when we walk. Rotate your pelvis, back your hips up. Relax the front of your thighs. And slowly come up. Turn your feet out a tiny little bit more. Go slow. Rotate your pelvis, back your hips up. If you ever feel pulling pretty close to a joint, whether your lower back, SI joint area, your knees, your ankles, come out a little bit. Come on up, turn your feet straight. You're facing the back of the chair, hips back. Shift your hips from one side to the other. Bring them back to center. Walk your feet in a little bit. Outer edges of feet straight, weight back, belly relax. Hip shift to one side and the other. Back to center. Walk your feet in a little closer, about hip distance, a little wider. Hips back. Shift your hips to one side and the other. Bring them back to center. Make sure your ankles are right under your hips. Push your hips back. Push down through one leg. Hug the hip in. Lift the other leg into the air. Hips back. Hug in so the hips are square to the floor. Breathing, maybe if your right leg is back, you reach your left arm forward. Did your weight drift forward? Back it up. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Hand down, put your foot down, feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Back your hips up, push down, hug the hip in. Lift the leg, first set up the legs, hips back and pull the hip in. Maybe opposite leg, opposite arm. Did your weight drift forward? Are you clenching to the chair for daily life? Can you push down and use your legs a little more? Lower your hand down, lower your foot down. Stand up tall, cross your right ankle behind your left. Reach your arms up, or one arm, you can hold onto the chair, right wrist behind your left wrist, and bend over to the left. Thigh bones moving back, straight. Come up, switch the crossing of your wrist, switch the crossing of your ankles, and bend over to the right. My stomach is making noises. And come on up, release your arms, uncross your legs, and I think we are ready to have a seat. Before we do, let's do one more thoracic stretch. Walk your hips, feet back, relax your belly, elbows point down to the floor. Maybe relax your kneecaps, and then once you get those kneecaps relaxing, next is to rotate your thighs into neutral, and that will post at the beginning of February, so stay tuned for that. And slowly come up and go ahead and have a seat in your chair. Feels so good to move our bodies. Okay, from your chair, ankles under your knees, pelvis upright, ribs relaxed down. Take your right arm up and over into a side bend. Switch. Left arm goes up and over. And that hand comes down, pelvis upright, ribs relax down. Turn your belly to the right. Feel the twist of the belly button. Feel the twist of the waist, more so than the head and the neck, or the shoulders and the head. Twist your belly button to the left. Okay, unwind. Let's spin around to the left for a lunge for just a moment. Try to be stable through your feet so that you can have your hands free. Interlace your right pinky finger on the bottom. Press away. Low chest tight with the hands. So the hands look like this. Switch the crossing. If your fingers splay away, try to bring them in closer. Press away. Release. Spin around to the other side. Thigh bone slides back, knee drops down. Interlace, nice even interlace. Press away low. Gently spread the thumbs away from each other. Switch the crossing of the fingers, nice and slow, nice and gentle. Press away. Notice if the arms started to creep up or the thumbs started to come in. And release, slide that leg forward, spin back around. Now you can use a prop or you can use your knee, but it's always good to switch it up. Cross your right ankle over on a prop or the knee. Rotate your pelvis upright. Interlace right pinky finger on the bottom. Press away. Again, watch that splaying. Spread the thumbs. Let's move the thumbs in and out a couple times. Or 4 times. Good. And then rotate forward from your pelvis a little. Relaxed ankle, less pull on the hip, which might be necessary. If your hips are feeling really tight, then relax the ankle. Neutral ankle helps get a little bit deeper into the hips and creates more stability. So if you need more stability, work with a neutral ankle. And if you're not sure, mix it up. That's the best way. When you're not sure, as you tune into your body, you'll start to figure out and learn. Okay, let's switch legs. Feet hip distance apart, so they stay hip distance apart, ankles under the knees. Either your ankle over your knee or onto your prop. Interlace left pinky finger on the bottom, press away. Nice even interlace, so bring those fingers, even if all the fingers have to come a little farther apart, gently with the thumbs in and out. No forcing. These are small muscles, so just be kind and not too fast. And then from there, rotate your pelvis forward a little bit. Neutral or relaxed ankle. Relax your belly. Relax around your waist. Come on up. And if you're using a prop, move it out of the way. Extend your legs long. And let's just reach our arms into the air and we'll do finger taps. So spread your fingers out a little, thumbs in and out. Pointer fingers in and out. Middle fingers, ring fingers, pinky fingers. Release your hands down. Rotate from your pelvis first. If you want to let your spine fold a little bit, if you want to let your head fold a little bit, keep flexing your ankles. If so one day you want to point your feet and do it that way, that's okay. And come back up and sit back in your chair all the way. And let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close. And become very present with your body, with your breath. Stay present with your body, with your breath. Tell yourself, and since you're home, if you'd like to, you can say these things out loud, or you can just say them in your mind's eye. Tell yourself, everything will work out. Things will get better. I am important. I am worthy of great things. I am lovable. The time is now. This too shall pass. I can be who I really am. The best is yet to come. I am strong. I can do this. We believe what we tell ourselves. And the best way to tell ourselves better things is to practice. Bringing your hands together at heart center. One version or meaning of namaste is that the very best in me honors and believes in the very best in you. And not only are we sending it out to everyone who we care about, everyone who practices this class with us, but also we're receiving it. We're receiving that others see and believe the very best in us too. In gratitude for this day, namaste.